is Will the Well Armed. I'm at day 2 of Iraqi Veteran 8888, and I'm at the Digital Trigger booth with Ben. And so Ben's going to tell us about the this is Digital Trigger 2.0 or 2.1.
It's actually 2.2. This particular model.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to look at, we've already done some range shooting, and now we're going to show basic operations. We're going to kind of skip the install, but it's fairly easy for what it is.
How's it going? So what we have here is an overview. It's a digital hybrid trigger system. And what that means is we have 2 triggers in one. We have our standard mechanical trigger, and your muscle memory is kind of retained, right? If you're used to an AR, you're used to safe, and you're used to fire. So what you get here is about a 5 to 7 pound, here we go, let me set that selector correctly. About 5 to 7 pounds, okay, standard feeling reset, just like you'd be used to from a mil-spec trigger. Okay, and that's your mechanical trigger. Does not run off a battery or anything like that. Now digital is when you go back here. I don't know if you'll see the light. Okay, now that's gonna take, and it's gonna drop that same exact trigger down to literally a 1 pound trigger pull. Okay, and that's really good for that precision work you were doing yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and now because it's digital, you have to remember firing modes are just software. So what we have on all DigiTrigger 2.2, and that 0.2 stands for, it's got 2 digital modes. We have a pull and release mode. That's gonna give you a shot when you pull the trigger, and a shot when you release the trigger. And that's good for your double tap or just a mag jump. So that's an overview. It's every trigger in one.
Okay. All right. And it does have a safety kind of like a 1911?
Absolutely, and it's because it's so light, and there's logic built into that safety. So say you grab the trigger and then grab the grip, doesn't go. You have to have your hand on the grip safety first, and then pull the trigger.
Okay, and now there's additional safety of when you hold the trigger down in the echo mode.
Exactly.
If you hold it more than 3 or 4 seconds,
yeah,
it won't fire the echo shot.
That's exactly right. So what we do here, and I'll demo that real quick for you. So say you're cranking some ammo, your dog goes down range. So I tell people wait about 6 seconds, all right? So 3, 2, 1, you let it go, and it won't fire. All right, that's your abort feature. That's the safest abort feature, is do nothing.
Right, right. And what else is nice is you had a curved trigger before, now it's a flat trigger.
Yeah, you know, everybody loves the flat triggers. Honestly, personally, I love them a lot more. We are gonna bring the curved trigger back as an option for people who want it.
Well, some people have smaller hands, need that reach. And,
yeah, exactly.
That's why.
And it does, that length of pull is just a little bit more forward. The curved trigger's got a good curve, so yeah. Okay. We will bring it back.
Yeah, and so this is not a modification, this is just a trigger.
Exactly, it's a drop-in trigger, that's exactly right.
Okay. And also, having a trigger like this is extremely important for the disabled, people with arthritis or MS or quadriplegia or tetraplegia. You know, so all those, and I can't reiterate, this is actually measured out at 14 ounces yesterday.
Wow, did it really?
Yeah.
That's all, and it is somewhat adjustable still. You can lighten that spring a little bit, but I don't recommend you go any lighter than that.
No, I think.
Yeah.
All right, now with that, could I use the JP spraying system and lighten up that mechanical trigger?
Absolutely. So our trigger group, and let me go ahead and, it by inspection looks like a standard mechanical trigger group. And we've maintained that because, you know, we're not necessarily trying to reinvent the wheel. I know it is a new trigger system, but those mechanical attributes that original Stoner designed, that's really good stuff. So we stayed with the same steel to use, the same heat treat to use, and the same springs.
Okay.
So we get guys that will put in those lighter springs, and that does increase your battery life too. So there's a lot of benefits to it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
How would it increase the battery life?
So what happens, so you have to remember, the reason it's a complementary system is that original trigger that's 5 to 7 pounds, it's still a heavy internal trigger. The DigiTrigger is actually breaking that heavier mechanical brake for you. And that's why it's so light for you. But because the internal brake is still heavy, one, it keeps it safe and drop safe, but two, the heavier it is, the more the DigiTrigger has to work.
Okay.
So with the lighter spring, the DigiTrigger doesn't have to work as much, it's got a battery life.
All right, so there's some kind of solenoid or something?
Exactly. One moving part in that grip, just a solenoid.
Okay, all right, got it. All right. And now we know the battery compartment takes what do you call those square batteries?
9 volts. 9 volts, and I can pop that out real quick.
Yep.
And like I said, a little hack for all the DT users out there, if you pull off all the O-rings except for the center one, it's a whole lot easier to take that out. But yeah, it just goes right in the grip, and it is a weatherized, toughened grip.
Okay. Now, is the upper part weatherized as well?
Yeah, it's actually it's beyond weatherized, to be honest. You can submerge it and everything like that.
Okay.
It's rated, I believe the actual rating would be like 6 feet for 2 hours or something like that, but I don't recommend doing that with your gun in general.
No, it would be a bad day.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, super.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate it.
Hey, this is Will Well Armed. Thanks a lot, and be prepared. Hey, this is Will Well Armed. I got the digital trigger. So this is a 14-ounce trigger, and we're going to shoot precision with this Vortex Razor sight as far out as I can.
Getting max left for your press and out.
I mean, it's almost like a paradiddle. It's more like a double tap on the base.
Heck yeah.
Next month or so.
Awesome. That's a great trigger. I've never felt anything like that. Thanks a lot, Digital Trigger.
That's why I don't play.
Go fast. Good, Ellie. Now turn around and smile.
Go faster. There you go. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to bond with him.
You're a competition shooter.